Okay, well, with us for a bit of a catch-up today is John Harris. John, a few things just to run through, and I suppose busy period for us, 2 home games next week, and a good financial offer for those looking to make advantage of both.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that games come in thick and fast, particularly when you're on a good run of form as we are, and the run of results have been really good, and so yeah, the games can't come quick enough, but it is always difficult. We do recognise how difficult it is when you've got 2 home games so quickly back to back as we have with Halifax and Aldershot, and hence the club looking to try and give a little bit back to the supporters, mindful of the fact that it is quite tight on the pockets.
The idea, of course, is that attending supporters get a £5 off voucher when they attend the Halifax game for use against Aldershot, and hopefully that the take-up will be decent.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the plan. Is the people who come to the Halifax game will get the voucher, use it against Aldershot. There's 2 things. One is that we do recognise that supporters have got it quite tough in terms of 2 games in 4 or 5 days, but also we've got the TV cameras here as well on the Friday, and it's certainly our intention to try and get as many people in as we can, get the atmosphere right, make it as difficult as we can for Aldershot, but and also get behind the team and the lads and try and get us another 3 points, because everybody plays a part in that. Every one of us plays a part in doing their own little bit to keep us at the top end of the league table.
The BT Sport games, I think I remember seeing a little announcement that in terms of reach, in terms of coverage, statistics, in terms of people that are viewing the first couple of conference games, has been fantastic, and I guess it's our turn to show ourselves off, isn't it, next Friday?
Yeah, this is certainly, I think from every club's perspective, and certainly the league's perspective, it's a real step up from where we were with Premier Sports. The viewing figures were moderate under Premier Sports, certainly under BT Sport. So far this season it's been a massive increase, and I suppose because you're opening up to what was the Premier League audience really, with BT Sport showing some of the Premier League games. So I think that's good. That's a good improvement for the league itself, and obviously we get an opportunity to showcase our football club, which opportunities like that don't come along that often,
And with the greatest will in the world, I guess most of the people tuning in, greatest majority of the people tuning in next Friday, might never have seen a game of non-league football, certainly televised. So the idea through the coverage and the way they operate in and around the grounds and looking inside the dressing room is to make it as sort of dynamic as possible, which is great.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It is an opportunity to show everybody outside of the normal conference supporter exactly the quality of the football, which has been pretty much consistently good when we've been involved this season, and I think the quality of the hard work that goes in around the country to produce non-league football, and certainly when you've got an ambitious football club like we are here, who are determined to get back into the Football League and start to make things better, and I think that's certainly everybody's plan and everybody's goal.
Players and management have made no secret about the fact that, again, the support here at Agber and away at home has been fantastic at the start of the season, and whilst it has been, and without going too overboard, I guess it's also important for the very, very small minority who might perhaps look to tarnish that reputation, that it's got a very important reputation as a family club to maintain.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's a problem that's the length and breadth of the country, no question, but there have been 1 or 2 little issues this season where we've got bigger numbers than we had this time last year, which is fantastic. The start has been really good. The points in the bag is a better haul than we had this time last year. But I think you're always going to have 1 or 2 people who want to burst the bubble, and I think we've had a couple of issues that we won't go any further than that in. But all I can ask the supporters to do is that there's a line of acceptability in terms of behaviour. We've had a couple of issues where that line's been crossed, and we won't tolerate that. Behaviour away from home, every one of us, home and away, represents Kidderminster Harriers Football Club, and it's really important that our reputation remains sky high. We're a very well respected football club around the country, and we want that to be maintained. And 1 or 2 people do risk that reputation if they cross that line of acceptability.
I've always found, from obviously being raised a Kidderminster fan myself, I've always found that Harriers fans have almost been quite self-policing in that they enjoy the reputation they've got of being a great and friendly bunch, and they tend to, for the want of a better phrase, stamp out any of that sort of rogue behaviour, and that's a great way of doing it.
Matt, that's certainly my understanding, and you know what you can see is that people were not happy with the behaviour Tuesday night of one or two individuals, which was really sad, and it was self-policed in the main. But I think it's important that there are some statutory regulations that we have to adhere to in terms of travelling to away games. There are statutory regulations we have to adhere to in terms of home games, and so we have to make sure that the reputation stays intact. But I think it just goes a little bit further this year. The one thing that Steve and the management team, the players, the directors have done here at Agborough is that there's a real togetherness. It's as one at the moment, and I think, you know, I'd be very, very disappointed if a very small minority, and we're talking, you know, individuals, single-figure individuals, spoilt that, because there's a long way to go yet, but we are on track to achieve what the ultimate goal, which is what everybody wants, that's to get into the Football League.
You're right to emphasise the very vast majority that sort of make Kidderminster such a welcoming place, and I guess that's also why we've been selected to host the England Under-16 Victory Shield game in a few weeks' time, which will be another great occasion for the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not beat around the bush. The Football Association don't take these games to clubs where there are issues and problems. You know, we've got an opportunity here again, not just to showcase how good our quality of football is at this football club, but also that we can lay on a special occasion. Under-16 football is one step away from being, you know, full-time players, guys that were with Premier League clubs are going to come here and see what we can do, what the facilities we have at Agborough. You never know, one day one of these under-16s may well run out in a red and white jersey.
And it's fantastic as well to see. I mean, we talked about an under-19s fixture that Agborough hosted around about 10-11 years ago, running through that squad, the likes of Glenn Johnson, Wayne Routledge, Wayne Rooney. You're almost certain to have a couple of stars in any sort of youth England setup, and without putting pressure on young boys, it's going to be fantastic to see whereabouts we are sort of in a couple of weeks, isn't it? And,
absolutely, yeah. I think there'll be names that in the under-16 team of maybe 10 years ago that were our household names now. You know, so we may well be looking at some of the stars of English football in the future. You know, they've been through a selection process probably from the age of 10 or 12. So these guys have been picked out as the best 16, 17 in England at the moment, and playing against the best 16 or 17 from the Wales select. And I'm sure there will be amongst there some household names of the future. And we've got to make sure that we enjoy the evening, that we put it on properly, and we get the people of Kidderminster and the West Midlands behind us, because I think it's a big occasion for the area.
The big games do just keep coming here, and we talked about these seniors, the first team games coming up, and the England Youth International. And there's also a big game in the FA Youth Cup as well, coming up in a couple of weeks' time when Harriers play Romulus, and I know Steve Guinan and is set up really keen to do well in that competition this year.
Definitely, I think again that for the youth team players, it's a great opportunity to get up against some of the big guns that come in a couple of rounds' time. And if you can get a little run together, because we are amongst predominantly non-league clubs at the moment, and I think if we can have a bit of luck and the boys can maintain the form of the other night, then there's no reason why we can't get into the first round and second round of the FA Youth Cup, and then perhaps go and pit our wits against full-time Football League clubs and maybe beyond them Premier League clubs. But there's a big game against Romulus first, and I think that has to take place here at Agborough, which is fantastic for the boys. It's a great opportunity for all of our supporters as well. It's reasonably priced, but also all of our season ticket holders can get in free entry for that evening. So yeah, it's another big game for this football club, because again we're talking about the stars of the future here at Agborough, and it'll be great, a nice opportunity for people to come and have a look at and see just how good they are.
How are you settling into life at Kidderminster yourself? Obviously, no, personally, you kept busy from the off, as we all are, and enjoying the atmosphere around the place. Yeah,
it's great. It's a lovely place to work. It's a really nice football club. Some great people around here. It's well run by a hard-working board of directors, and I suppose the timing for me was perfect to come in the summer to start pre-season and to be involved with, and to have an involvement like I have with Steve and Gary and the players, and looking after them football secretary wise. I suppose the timing was perfect, but it's great when you can actually start where 3 points matters, and when the season started, that's when you get your teeth stuck into your job. And yeah, I'm enjoying every minute of it. It's as I say, it's certainly part of my remit is to play my part in getting this football club in the Football League, and fingers crossed we're on track to do that.
And from the chairman and yourself, board of directors, all the way down to the lowly sort of media man, you know obviously how difficult it is at any club that's fighting to do well in this division, because it's a heck of a challenge, isn't there? So much competition.
Absolutely. I was involved at Macclesfield Town last season, who'd been relegated out of the Football League, and I suppose your best opportunity to get back out is your first year, because there's a parachute payment. But it was a real eye-opener to realise just how difficult a league it is, and I do think it's going to get stronger and stronger. There's a high number of ex-Football League clubs still involved in the conference who are all have the same, wake up on the first game in August with the same desire to get back in the Football League, and only one of us can guarantee that. Another one can get in through the playoffs, but I'd like to think that this football club can go one step further. It was so close last year, and we've seen how well Mansfield and Newport have done in the start of their season in League Two. There's no reason why we can't hold our own and maybe kick on from there, but we've got a big hurdle of getting over first, and that's to maintain the run of form we've got at the moment, keep everybody together, keep everybody working for the same goal, and hopefully come April we'll have something to celebrate and pop the corks.